Gaurpemanam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 20, text number 52 and 53. Tapasa Vidyaya Yuktaha. Tapasa Vidyaya Yukto Yogena Susamadina. Yogena Susamadina. Rishin Rishihi Rishikeshaha. Rishin Rishir Rishikeshaha. Sasarja Abhimataha Prajaha. Sasarja Abhimatah Prajaha. Tapasa Vidyaya Yukto Yogena Susamadina. Rishin Rishir Rishikeshaha. Sasarja Abhimatah Prajaha. Tapasa Vidyaya Yukto Yogena Susamadina. Rishin Rishir Rishikeshaha. Sasarja Abhimatah Prajaha.
Tapasa Vidyaya Yukto Yogena Susamadina. Rishin Rishir Rishikeshaha. Sasarja Vimata Praja. Tapasa Vidyaya Yukto Yogena Susamadina. Rishin Rishir Rishikeshaha. Sasarja Vimata Praja. Tapasa Vidyaya Yukto Yogena Susamadina. Rishin Rishir Rishikeshaha. Sasarja Vimata Praja.
By penance. Vidyaya by worship. Yuktaha being engaged. Yogena by concentration of the mind in devotion. Susamadina by nice meditation. Rishin the sages. Rishihi the first seer. Brahma Hrishikeshaha the controller of his senses. Sasarja created. Abhimataha beloved. Prajaha sons. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Having equipped himself with austere penance, adoration, mental concentration, and absorption in devotion, accompanied by dispassion and having controlled his senses, Brahma, the self-born living creature, evolved great sages as his beloved sons. Please repeat the translation. Having equipped himself with austere penance, adoration, mental concentration, and absorption in devotion, accompanied by dispassion, and having controlled his senses, Brahma, the self-born living creature, evolved great sages as his beloved sons. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The ritualistic performances of sacrifice are meant for material economic development. In other words, they are meant to keep the body in good condition for cultivation of spiritual knowledge. But for factual attainment of spiritual knowledge, other qualifications are needed. What is essentially is Vidya or worship of the Supreme Lord. Sometimes the word yoga is used to refer to the gymnastic performances of different bodily postures which help mental concentration. Similarly, the different bodily postures in the yoga system are accepted by less intelligent men to be the end of yoga. But actually, they are meant to concentrate the mind upon the super soul. After creating persons for economic development, Brahma created sages who would set the example for spiritual realization. Next verse, I'll recite myself. Tebhyaschaikaikasah swasya dehasya amshamadat ajaha yattat samadhi yogaruddhi tapo vidya viraktimat. To each and one of these sons, the unborn creator of the universe gave a part of his own body, which was characterized by deep meditation, mental concentration, supernatural power, austerity, adoration, and renunciation. Purport. The word viraktimat in this verse means possessed of the qualification of renunciation. Spiritual realization cannot be attained by materialistic persons. For those who are addicted to sense enjoyment, spiritual realization is not possible. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that those who are too attached to seeking material positions and material enjoyment cannot reach yoga samadhi, absorption in Krishna consciousness. Propaganda that one can enjoy this life materially and at the same time spiritually advance is simply bogus. The principles of renunciation are four: to avoid illicit sex, to avoid meat eating, to avoid intoxication, and to avoid gambling. These four principles are called tapasya or austerity. To absorb the mind in the Supreme, in Krishna consciousness, is the process of spiritual realization. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. Om ajnanatimirandasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshuram militam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. Nama om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaurabhaktarunda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Lord Brahma, after having created various categories of living entities, his final creation was the great sages. And they are equipped with various potencies from Brahma himself. So these verses conclude with creation of great sages and their qualities. Tapasa vidyaya yukto yogena susamadina. So Brahma, before creating these great sons, the sages, he himself has gone through a process. Tapasa, by austerity, severe penances. Vidyaya, by knowledge, by worship, by adoration. Yuktaha means engaged in. Then yogena susamadina, by mental concentration, and samadhina means complete absorption, focusing completely. Susamadhina, complete absorption in devotion. Rishir Hrishikeshaha. The great sages were created by the first sage. And how qualified he was? He was almost like Hrishikeshaha. He was controller of his own senses, like Lord Krishna. Sasarja abhimatah prajaha. Sasarja, he created. Abhimatah prajaha, his beloved sons. So in that purport, Prabhupada was saying, till now, the activities what were all created were all mainly focusing upon dharma, artha, kama. Within this bodily perspective, how to maintain this body in an effective way. The ritualistic performances of sacrifices are meant for material economic development. In other words, they are meant to keep the body in good condition for cultivation of spiritual knowledge. Till now, these were discussed. How we can say that all the things that were created only for economic development, all the devatas, you satisfy by their sacrifice, They provide you with returns which will help you economically grow. And after creation of persons for economic development, Brahma created sages who would set examples for spiritual realization. Dharma, Artha, Kama. After enjoying Artha, now people will start looking for liberation, moksha. So these sages were set example so that how people can plan for their liberation, spiritual realization. These sages will give guidance in that direction. Then what were these sages' qualifications? How they were trained up? Tebhyascha eikaikasaha swasya. To unto them, tebhyaha, eikaikasaha, each and every one of them, swasyaha, from his own body, dehasya amsham adat ajaha, Lord Brahma, ajaha, from his dehasya, from his sharira, adat, he gave angam, a one part of his body. Yat tat samadhi yoga riddhi tapo vidya viraktimat. And they were all equipped with samadhi, again concentration of the mind, focusing upon the mind. Yoga, it is deep meditation. Riddhi, it is supernatural power. Tapaha, austerity. Vidya, adoration. Viraktimat, renunciation. The 6 primary qualities all these sages possessed in different degrees. So, who are these sons which were created by Brahma, and which part of his body he gave to that sage? Already we had studied in the 3rd canto, 12th chapter, for us for understanding again. So, Vasishta was from the breathing of Lord Brahma. Daksha was from the thumb of Lord Brahma. Bhrigu was from the touch of Lord Brahma. Kratu was from the hand of Lord Brahma. Pulasya was from the ears of Brahma. Angira was from the mouth of Brahma. Atri was from the eyes of Brahma. Marichi from the mind of Brahma. Pulaha from the navel of Brahma. And the 10th son, the most important, Narada, was born from the deliberation of Brahma, which is the best part of the body. Deliberation means intelligence. So Narada was born from the intelligence of Lord Brahma, and he is the best product of, in the 10 sons, he is considered as the best created by Lord Brahma. So till now, in this chapter, various things have been created. What and all have been created, if you do a recap? And what did they accept? First, Brahma gave up his mentality of ignorance, which is a shadow, which was picked up by yakshas and rakshasas. And it signifies hunger and thirst as night. Then he gave up the mentality of goodness, which was picked up by demigods, which is visualized by daytime. Then from his buttocks came the demons who accepted the twilight, which represents lust or sexual perspective. Then he gave the thought of beauty, from whom came Gandharvas and Apsaras, who visualize it as moonlight. So when you see on full moon night, people will become so happy, so pleasant. They would like to see the visualization beauty. Like that. Then laziness came Bhutas and Pisachas, who attack impure persons. Then came invisible form, Pitas and Sadhyas. They accept the Shraddha offerings. Then came Antardhana, Siddhas and Vidyadharas, by which they become invisible. Then reflection, Kimpurushas and Kinnaras, who praise Brahma at various times in the day. Then from his anger, hair, hands and legs, snakes, serpents and nagas were evolved, which represent cruelty. Then from his own mind, own form, which is Manu, sacrificial establishment of ritualistic ceremonies has been done. and from parts of his own body, the great sages were generated, who established Samadhi, Yoga, Riddhi, Tapa, Vidya, Virakti. The primary qualification for one who is interested in spiritual advancement. Samadhi, he should come to a state where completely, like chanting, he should be completely able to focus on the holy name. Complete absorption. Yoga means Yoga Indriya Samyama. You should be able to regulate your senses. Then Riddhi, it is material opulence, material power, supernatural power. Tapaha, austerity. And Prabhupada includes tapaha means following the 4 regulative principles. In Kali Yuga, to follow these 4 regulative principles is the biggest austerity. Vidya, education, spiritual knowledge, bhakti related information. You should be completely equipped with all the details of spiritual perspectives. And virakti, detachment from this material world, renunciation. So what do these great sages do? What are their unique qualities by which everybody becomes attached to them or connected to them? So Vidura praises Maitreya, who was also a great sage, who learnt Bhagavatam directly from Lord Krishna. So when they met, Vidura was glorifying Maitreya by saying, Janasya Krishnad Vimukasya Daivat Adharmashilasya Sudukkitasya Anugrahayeha Charanti Noonam Bhutani Bhavyani Janardanasya. See, great sages, what do Narada Muni do? Does he stay at one place? What does he do? He keeps roaming everywhere. Why are they roaming? Great sages do not stay at one place, they keep roaming everywhere. And what is their intention of roaming? This verse explains. Janasya Krishnasya Vimukasya Daiva. Janasya, people in general. Krishnad Vimukasya, who have become averse to Krishna. Daivad means averse from devotional perspectives, averse to the Supreme Lord. Adharma Shilasya, who have accepted all the unwanted principles into their life. Irreligious principles they have accepted. And their character is built by irreligion. Adharma Shilasya. Sudukkadasya, and they are always dukkitasya. Sudukkitasya means heavily in, to the fallen state. Sudukkitasya, always with problems. Anugrahayeha means to give them compassion. Anugrahayeha. Charanti Noonam, you great devotees wander around, roam around, Charanti. Bhutani Bhavyani Janardanasya, for the benefit of the living entities. Because they are all Bhavyani, they are all philanthropic souls. What is philanthropy? To show compassion to the living entities. To do good for other living entities. So Bhutani Bhavyani, to do good to living entities, Bhutani, these devotees wander around on behalf of the Supreme Lord, Janardanasya. So what do? They roam around and they start preaching about the glories of the Lord, to whom these people who are all become averse to Krishna consciousness and who have been fully imbibed with all negative qualities. Go, touch them, convert them, and bring them favorably towards Krishna's perspective. So this is the great work of these great sages. They roam everywhere. Then Krishna explains the nature of these devotees in 11th canto to Uddhava. He says, Na kinchit sadavo dhira bhaktyahi ekantino mama. He says, Vanchanti api maya dattam kaivalyam apunarbhavam. My devotees, bhaktaha, they actually are sadavaha, dhiraha. They are of very saintly behavior, sadavaha. And dhiraha, they are of deep intelligence. And he ekantino mama, they are completely, unalloyedly attached to me only. And vanchanti api, they do not desire anything other than the Supreme Lord or his service. Now, how do you define these great sages? These are the Lakshana. Indeed, Krishna says, Maya dattam kaivalyam, even if I offer them liberation. Apunarbhavam na kinchit, they do not accept even after birth, after death. Birth and death, liberation from the cycle of birth and death, these devotees do not accept that. They are not interested in liberation also. Nairapeksham param prahur nishreyasam analpakam tasma nirashisho bhaktir nirapekshasya me bhavet. Nirapeksham prahur param analpakam nishreyasam. It is said complete detachment is the highest stage of freedom. In this material world, the complete detachment is considered as the highest stage of freedom. Everybody wants freedom, independence. So when you are completely detached, so you are not bothered with any situation, any circumstances. And nirapekshaha, and they have no personal desire. Apekshaha means expectation. Nirapeksha means they have no personal desires. Tasma nirashishaha, and they do not pursue any personal rewards. Ashishaha, they do not expect any benedictions. Nirashishaha. And bhaktir me bhavet, and they engage in loving devotional service too. These devotees, they engage in favorable, loving devotional service without expectation. Like generally when we worship the Lord, we expect some benedictions, some ashirvada. They don't expect any ashirvada. Or no personal desires to be satisfied, nothing to run behind. Sri Sri Radha Govinda. And further, Krishna says, Namayi ekanta bhaktanam gunadoshodbhavak gunaha sadhunam samachittanam buddhe param upeyusham. Gunadoshodbhava gunaha. In material world, you have good and bad, duality. Doshaha, they are considered as faults. And for pure devotees, they do not arise within the mind of these pure devotees, this good or bad, evil and unwanted things. Material piety and sin, good and bad, never arise in this world for these devotees. Namayi ekanta bhaktanam. They cannot arrive, they cannot stay alone without the Supreme Lord. They are completely in consciousness with the Supreme Lord. And sadhunam, they are free from all material hankerings. And samachittanam, they are completely steady for all circumstances, free from duality. And upeyusham param buddhim, they have completely, such devotees have completely achieved the Lord. And for them, the Supreme Lord is everything. There is nothing beyond the Supreme Lord. Param buddhim, this is the highest intelligence beyond material intelligence. The law, their complete thing is for the Supreme Lord. And Krishna further concludes by saying, Evam etan maya dishtan anutishtanti me pataha kshemam vindanti matstanam yad brahma paramam viduhu. So these people, they practically follow the path which was prescribed by the Lord. Anutishtanti me pataha. So they follow the path as set by previous acharyas and the Supreme Lord, and they give guidance for the future people also how to practice. Then, evam etan maya dishtan, which was personally taught by the Supreme Lord himself, they follow the path exactly. And kshemam, they attain complete freedom from all illusion. Vindanti matstanam, and they reach the eternal abode of the Supreme Lord finally. And Yat Brahma Paramam Viduhu. They perfectly understand this complete absolute truth. So they are glorified with all these qualities. How do these great sages, what do they possess? They have complete information of the Lord. And they are absolutely connected with the Lord. They cannot survive without the Lord. So how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Shat Goswamis, they are all like great sages who have shown us by practicality in Kali Yuga how we can go back home, back to Godhead. So one of the Gaudiya Vaishnava had made one song on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. He says, Nadhyar ghate bhai ki adbhuta tari, Nithai guliyar tate, Chaitanya Kandhari. He's saying, oh bhai, oh my dear brothers, at a place called Nadia Ghat, there is a wonderful boat. And at that boat stands Lord Nityananda and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the captain. Dui Raghunatha, Sri Jiva Gopala, Sri Rupa Sanatana. All the 6 Goswamis, Rupa Sanatana, Dui Raghunatha, Raghunath Bhatta, Raghunath Dasa, Jiva Goswami and Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Parera Naukaya Era, Dhai Chaya Jana. These 6 devotees are the oarsmen. You know oarsmen? If your boat has to go further, there is something called as oar. So these 6 acharyas, the Shat Goswamis are the oarsmen. They are rowing the boat. 2 captains, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. Kijabe bai bhava pare bhali nitai aake, kare kai vina pare kare jake take. He says, Lord Nityananda is loudly calling, oh my dear brothers, who among you is interested in crossing this ocean of birth and death? Kayara Kai Vina, without any Kayara, means with no money required, no money, I will take you easily to cross this ocean. And one can, and all may cross to the other shore. Vina pare kare jake take. Everyone, one and everyone can pass. No qualification required. And it is free. I am not charging anything. Atare katare vina ke pare kare bhai, kintu para kare sabe Chaitanya nitai. He's saying, if you don't want to trouble to pay the fare, who will take you across? But Chaitanya and Nityananda are so magnanimous that they take everyone across the material ocean. Krishna Dasa bole bhai, bala Hari Hari. So Krishna Dasa is saying, oh my dear brothers, please chant Hari Hari. Nitai Chaitanya ghate nahi lage kadi. So Lord Nityananda and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at their specific ghat, they do not require any payment. So now all of us, let us assemble at that ghat and get into their boat, and they will take us to the other side of the material world. See what great sages have done by Brahma. These Goswamis and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu have done in the practical way for us. What is the greatest benefit of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thing? Chant simply, with no price required. Are we paying anything for this chanting holy name? And you chant and we get liberated from the process. So there was a small story about this holy name. So there was one sadhu who was sitting inside a cave and doing meditation. So in a deep forest this is. The hunter was passing by the process. When he heard of this sadhu, he came there. As soon as he saw the sadhu, he paid obeisances and he did namaskara and all. Because this was the samskara taught to him by his mother. Even though he is a meat eater, hunter, killer of animals. Mother said, whenever you come across a sadhu, a Vaishnava, a person who is wearing a dhoti and tilak, immediately pay obeisances. And if possible, try to do some seva to them. So with this information, when he came across this sadhu, he immediately paid obeisances. He was standing there. And he was asking to the sage, who are you? what are you doing here? How long have you been sitting here with hunger and thirsty? Can I get something eatables to you? Because in forest, sadhus, they don't eat anything and everything. Because of doing into meditation, they would have gone into samadhi, so they would not have eaten for many days also. So being as a concerned person, he said, I want to help you, what I can get for you. The sadhu said, bring me some good ingredients. What is good ingredients? Some fruits, some roots, water, something like that, what is available in the forest. So, and he is explaining to a hunter who has no knowledge about the subject. So this person went outside, caught one big deer and brought him to the sage. And this deer is so special that it has 12 horns. This is considered as the most valuable deer. 12-horn deer. 12 singwala. And he said, my dear sadhu, please come. I have bought something which is the most valuable. See, he said, bring most valuable. In the forest, the most valuable thing was this 12-horn deer. He said, see, I have brought this deer. The sadhu came outside and he saw a deer. He said, see, I have brought it here. Now do one thing. Take it inside, cut it, offer it to the Lord, cook something, and give me also some prasada. I'll wait here. So that sadhu was saying, he can't explain to him what is good and what is bad, what is to be offered, what not to be offered. He said, see, laughingly, he said, sadhus don't eat cheap things and all. They will eat one specific deer is there, which is of very unique quality in this world. If you can get that deer to me, then I will do something. Then he asked, please explain to me, what is that deer? What are its lakshana? How to find it? So he started explaining about that deer by quoting a verse from Bhagavatam, which refers to beauty of Lord Krishna. He says, Baraha Bidam Natavara Vapuho Karnayo Karnikaram. The deer has one peacock feather. Baraha Bidam. He asked, do deers wear peacock feather? No, this specific deer wears peacock feather. And Natavara Vapuhu. And he is like a very expert at dancing. And Karnayo Karnikaram. When you play flute, generally how deer get attracted? You play flute and they get attracted. So Natavara Vapuhu, he is like very expert at dancing. Natavara Vapuhu. See, explaining to a hunter, please understand. He is not explaining Sanskrit sloka. In a way, how he can understand. Then he says, Karnayo Karnikaram. There is one specific flower. And he applies this flower only on one side of the ear. He doesn't do on the two sides. Generally, Kundali, we keep both sides. He sees he has Kundali only on one side. And what is so specialty? When he moves his head, that Kundali will come this side. When he moves his head, that Kundali will come this side. Then, Bibrad Vashaha, he wears a lightning like yellow dress. A deer wearing a dress, that too yellow color, which is very shining. Then, Kanaka Kapisham Vaijayanti cha Malam. And that Kanaka Kapisham, that one is like golden, bright, shining dress he was wearing. Then Vaijayanti cha Malam, and this deer has a mala, a forest garland. Then Randran Venur Adare Sudaya Apurayan Goparvandar. Actually, he was explaining about Krishna. Randran, from the holes. Venur Adaraha, from the flute which has holes. The Krishna, by touching that flute to his lips, Adara Sudaya, the music was flowing so nicely. This deer will become attracted by that beautiful music. Goparvandar, in the association of his Gopa friends. Vrindaranyam Swapada Ramanam Pravishat Gita Kirtihi. The actual meaning was, in Vrindavana, in this forest, Krishna, along with his friends, they keep roaming around the forest and they play flute and they start glorifying Krishna and his pious activities. But he was relating there was a black deer with a peacock feather and specific flowers, all these things and all. He gave a list. And this hunter recorded everything in the points. He has written down in his notebook. He went outside and he started looking at every deer And he started, this quality is there, this quality is there, this quality is there. He started judging every deer. But he could not find any deer with these qualities. So and he had taken a vow, unless I catch this deer, I will not come back before you. He started looking. One day over, second day over, third day over, fourth day over, fifth day. No hunger, no thirst. Because he was completely absorbed into the process that he said, no, that sadhu is sitting there inside without eating anything. If sadhu can survive without eating anything, how can't I survive? So even though he is fully exhausted, he is about to get unconscious, but still, no, I have to fulfill my vow to sadhu. Then he started looking everywhere. He saw everything, each and every bit of the forest. He could not find that deer, as explained by sadhu. So finally, seeing his sincerity, Lord Krishna appeared to him in that form, how the sadhu has defined. So by seeing that form, he started removing his book. Peacock feather is there, yellow dress is there, that karnika flower is there, with the hand flute is there. So immediately, silently, he went behind him and he started following him. At one particular point, he immediately threw a net upon Krishna, captured him. With a stick, he tied him and put it onto his shoulder, and he started carrying to the cave where the sage is there. He brought him near the cave and he started calling, Swamiji, Swamiji, please come. I have brought what you wanted for. That sadhu was thinking something again. He would have brought some kg thing, and he said he would have brought something. And reluctantly he came outside. And as he came outside, he saw the hunter. On his shoulder there was a stick which was tied to a net, into which Lord Krishna is captured, and Krishna is nicely seated there, and he started playing his flute. So then he said, see, I have brought this. Immediately offer it to the Lord and give me some prasadam. I am waiting. I am hungry. For 5 days I am hungry. Sadhu said, first keep him down. What have you done? No, I have done what you have said. You said find for the deer. I have brought this deer. I am waiting. Cut it immediately. Cut it, cook it and offer it. And so Sadhu, he became very much attracted by this sincerity of this hunter. Then immediately he released the Supreme Lord, and Lord, by the touch of that Lord's touch, that even that hunter became elevated. So much so that he became liberated from this thing. Because the whole time he was only thinking of the shloka. Because he was thinking of the qualities only. By that meditation upon the qualities of the Lord, he became liberated from this material. A sincere endeavor to remember the Lord through the qualification as explained by a sadhu, even a people who are of hunter category, even they become liberated from this material. This is the practical way how the great sages roam around and liberate people from this material world, with who are equipped with all unwanted qualities also. Adharma Shilasya, this hunter, he says when he asked him to release him, he gives argument, I have captured him after so much endeavor. If I leave him, he will run away again. It's very difficult to catch him. So such is the absorption. No idea, no understanding, no philosophy. Just focus. Because Acharya, that sadhu said, I will do this. So sometimes we will try to put our intelligence into the system. So that is the second class devotional service. We should not put our intelligence. Just blindly follow whatever Acharya says. That is first class intelligence. Like Prabhupada gives example. Prabhupada says, get me a glass of water. So what will you do? Will you get a glass of water? Will you get a juice? Will you get milk? No, better than water is juice. Better than juice is milk. Now Prabhupada is asking water, I'll get him milk or juice, which is much better than water. Then do we become first class servant or second class servant? So simply follow. Don't put our intelligence into spiritual perspectives. You can inquire, but for proper execution of the service, we should inquire. Not for any other material perspectives. So we'll stop here. Any questions or doubts? Grandhara Srimad